Hi, welcome back to Zoom 101 with Michelle Brody from Atlas Events Group. We are just making our way through the Zoom settings down here in the admin portal area for the account management account settings. And we're just making our way through this menu bar at the top that you can see here. We're just going to go through a few altogether in this video because this video, this license, and for those of you who are watching this tutorial, you most likely are a single Zoom user. So like me, you have a Zoom Pro account, you're the only license holder, you're using it for your own personal business, whether it's consulting or coaching, or even, just connecting with people through Zoom for sales, etc. So some of these features we'll be able to get through quite quickly because they're not relevant to you. For those of you who are watching because you have coaching companies with small teams, coaching teams, etc., again, we'll go through these features based on your needs as well. If you are managing a Zoom account for a large corporation or a large corporate team, these features may have different uses within your company and within your smaller teams. So while this information may be of a general nature, it may not be relevant for you and your needs. But please watch along, and by all means, go to the Zoom university area to get further training or to ask questions to their Zoom support if need be. Okay, so audio conferencing. Let's have a look in here. I am pretty certain that this is purely about the phone connection. You'll find when you do like a meeting invite, etc., that it will say like, will you allow people to just zoom in on their phones and to use different phone numbers in order to do that from their phone if they don't have the app or they do not have stable internet in their country, etc. So if you are trying to grow a global business and you do want clients from all over the world, yes, this feature is on. And this is what that means. So once again, this is referring to the groups and members of the license that you hold with Zoom. That is for corporate and large group Zoom admins. So here we're saying, yes, we will allow them to use the free Zoom toll call. So that's a free number for them to be able to call in, from those places. And we can't change those, and that's all fine. Choose where most of the participants call into or call from the meeting. An accurate selection can reduce the unnecessary call delays to improve quality. And most of the participants are calling in from. Okay, so if, for example, you're doing a event, meeting, call, etc., to the US market, great, you choose the US market here. If it's the UK market, maybe you go Europe, etc. So not a bad little setting to know. Never have had any issues with this myself, though, with all the global companies and corporates, clients, etc., that we've used Zoom with, purely because they're not using audio conferencing to join from these main countries. They are actually using Zoom as we use it right now. Third-party audio configuration. Don't really know that that's something we would need to worry about, or exactly what that would mean or do. If it's an accessibility thing, like if there is potentially for people who might be partially deaf and they have like different kinds of like transcribing services for their audio calls, or devices that that they use as a substitute from a phone or a computer, and it has to go through those. That might be something, and then you could turn that feature on. So if your clients or the people you're calling with have something of that nature that they need to use, this is where you'd find that setting to turn it on. Phone numbers of users dialing into meetings to be masked in the participant list, for example. Okay, well, I don't actually dislike that. again, it was assuming that you've got people actually calling in. I guess similarly, how like our name is visible when we join a Zoom call. If someone was joining in via their phone through a phone number, it would maybe have their phone number visible, although I've never seen that. But that again would be where you can turn that on or off if if it is something you've noticed and you would like to secure their privacy. Again, down here, global dial-in, click the edit icon to choose countries that frequently have participants who need to dial into meetings. Okay, again, know your people, know your audience. If people are actually dialing in, maybe you can select the majority of the countries in which they're dialing in from. So that's between you and your clients and your use. Team chat. Again, this is lockable for your groups and members. Let's have a look. Allow users to take and send screenshots, indirect messages, or group conversations. Okay, this is the chat feature, not in the meeting. This is not about your in-meeting chat. This is purely about the chat that lives out here, this feature, team chat. Okay. If you are working in a small team or a small corporate environment and you would like the teams to be able to communicate with each other, or you're on a project and you are using notes, for example, and you do want a central place to chat with each other because you're not using Slack or WhatsApp or the other hundreds of other communication features like Basecamp, etc., that people use in companies, and you just want to use Zoom because you already have the license and you're paying for it anyway, that's what these features are for. Now, I do not have chat. I do not need chat. So I'm going to turn all these off because there's no point in them being on for my company or my account. Turning off all of these because this is only to do with the team chat feature. Again, if you're using Slack, you'll see this is very similar. Like, I was the thing about channels, like creating channels and all that kind of stuff. It's exactly the same as Slack. Recording video messages. So yeah, I'm just turning all these features off. It'll be interesting to see on the updates if these all get set back on as well. All right. So yeah, not using chat. This is interesting. If you are using chat because of your small teams, they can actually be stored in Zoom's cloud, again, for your corporate governance, record keeping governance, etc. That could be a good thing to store it here in the first instance and then have your people take it out of there for your company's record keeping purposes. So yeah, there we go. That is now all off because I do not use the team chat feature. Thanks for coming. Apps for Zoom. Ugh. There is apps for Zoom. There is web apps. There is all kinds of interesting add-ons that they have. And what that's saying is, I don't know if we can see it here. So here's, look, here's AI Companion now on the toolbar down the bottom. I'm going to see if I can remove that. And sometimes people will have the apps thing down here as well. And like, here's the new summary thing that will go away. That's not there on that one either. PS, if you are in your settings with a Zoom call open and you're like, oh, I'll just go and change that setting, and you think you've changed it in your on here on the website, it will not automatically change it in the active call. You will have to stop your call and relog back in before it takes effect. So just be mindful of that. That's why these are still here. I'm going to turn that off because I do not use Zoom apps on calls or ever for that matter. Whiteboards, I don't use them. So I'm going to actually turn them off here in my account settings. Fun fact, they are off in my personal meeting settings, but because they're not off here, they're still technically visible and available to my attendees. So now they will not be. Notes. Again, we are not using a small group team situation with this account. So I am just going to turn it all off because I have absolutely no need for notes. And we went through what notes are up here in the personal meetings if you would like to review what they actually are. The last one we're going to go through is clips. So as mentioned, clips are Zoom's way of becoming useful for YouTube Shorts and TikTok and social media uses. So rather just using your phone video or those other video type apps to create short clips, Zoom's created its own version of that. It's in beta phase, meaning this is a trial, and it's a feature that may not exist after. So if you want to try it out, cool, go for it. Personally, for me, I have no need for it. So once again, I am just going to turn it all off and have it not affect my account. So yeah, there you go. Those are some quick turn them off, leave them off type of settings that you guys can go through and get sorted in your account.